So they didn't want to blow it if it was on their own local government's side. So they just kept quiet until additional information came to light, as finally did.
So now we think it's
Russian.
Russian.
Yeah, and this, I mean, this is the first clear evidence we have of the same kind of competence of deep espionage-grade malware that we presume the U.S. has, and so the East does too.
And then finally the poodle bit again.
Yes. It turns out that the fix for Poodle was turning off SSL3. And so everyone ran around and turned it off,
right.
And except me, rebooted their servers.
Right.
I'll do that
You've
soon.
turned it off but not rebooted.
Exactly that. But the vulnerable stack was in the front end appliances, the load balancing appliances of 10% of the internet. So someone thought to scan those, and it was there. So I think it was F5 is one of the companies, and there's a different one I can't remember.
Is it much concern though? It sounds like it's a lot of work to get kind of a little bit of information.
It's a lot of work to get a little bit of information.
Yeah.
And boy, some of these cookies are just crazy big now.
Yeah, I don't know. So what?
That's
you
kind
got
of
my
why
cookies.
I'm not in a hurry to read them.
Yeah.
Well, and besides, I don't even rely on it.
Right.
My own e-commerce system doesn't store anything valuable in cookies.
Right.
I encrypt separately. So it's actually, for GRC, it's not a problem, except I get a C.
Is the biggest story of the year the Sony hack? I think it has to be. Despite all of this, we've just gone through the whole year, and it was an amazing year.
Exhausting. I'm exhausted.
Yeah. But and sometimes you feel like, well, it shouldn't be the last thing that happened in the year. That's just the one we remember best. And yet, I have to say,
Well, if this happened in January,
it would still be
yes.
a big
I think
story.
my question is, what effect will this have for IT?
Yeah.
We know what effect Snowden's revelations have had for the availability of security. This last year, we have to thank Edward for all of this, knee-jerk, welcome reaction.
Right.
And so you have to imagine that there are boardrooms all over the country where the CEO is saying to the CIO, "Is this what you've been telling me we're vulnerable to?"
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen. I don't want my emails to get out. And then the CIO says, "All I need is money. I need budget and time. I gotta hire some guys and we'll bolt things down. Oh, and by the way, you may not be able to VPN in from your yacht and Mediterranean without, using this key, this dongle that I keep trying to get you to use, but you say it's too much work."
We immediately started talking about implementing AdBlocker for that very reason.
Yeah, in fact, when I go to Windows 7, I'm going to fire up AdBlocker and go to a experiment with the feasibility of a whitelisting system.
See, that's the issue. Is a lot of stuff breaks.
Yeah,
Stuff unexpectedly breaks.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with address memory randomization.
ASLR.
Yeah.
Space layout.
Yeah. I mean, there are some things you can do, but they break unpredictably.
And data execution prevention.
Same
That's
thing.
why it's in there, but Microsoft only has it turned on for their stuff.
Not on by default.
No.
Because it's breaking.
No. And remember too, like you were never a fan of NoScript because it kept popping things up saying, you're trying to execute scripts, are you sure? And we were always annoyed by Zone Alarm. Whenever you installed something, you get orange dialogues that are saying,
we have some concern about AdBlocker, but it won't be implemented company-wide. It will only be implemented on certain computers because we can't implement it company-wide.
Yeah.
So this is still a very hard problem to solve. Yeah. And I frankly still think that if somebody is determined to hack you personally, if it's a spear phishing style attack against you, it's going to be very hard.
Yeah. So minimizing the attack surface is always worthwhile. And in the same way that we switched firewalls from blocking things that we knew were bad to permitting things that we trust, I really think we're going to end, this is where we're going. We're going to end up whitelisting. We're going to end up with an operating system where it learns the things that you permit it to run, and apps are going to be signed, signatures are going to be checked, and we'll be permitting things. I mean, everyone will feel more comfortable if we do it that way.
And yet I have to say, based on everything that happened this year, I feel like it's also news.
Well, I said to you, I couldn't pick Sony. I mean, I couldn't prevent that. As you said, I mean, with something that size, that many people who are going to click on links, no matter how many times you warned them not to. It's like, oh, it's
the only way really to be secure is to get off. Yeah?
Yeah.
Camping.
With tall trees nearby.
You know, the use of drones in national parks, which is forbidden, has been going up.
They're fun.
Geometric.
They're fun.
Everywhere. I was talking to my hairdresser. She said, "Yeah, we were at a campsite, and this thing went. She thought it was a UFO. Pauses. And I said, "Oh yeah."
No kidding.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
Have you seen the Bebop?
Yeah, I want to buy one.
That's fun.
Yeah, but it's not out yet.
I know.
Yeah. I was going to get one for Henry for Christmas. So spy on this
wide angle lens, and then in software.
Isn't that clever?
It's brilliant.
This is from the Parrot AR folks.
guys.
It's their newest version.
Yep.
And the camera is super wide angle.
It's fixed, so it
doesn't pivot or point.
Right.
It gets everything.
Yes.
And then it picks a section
Super high resolution.
Yeah.
And so it does barrel distortion correction and.
Yep. We talk a lot about drones on the show. Father Robert has a cheap drone. He's got 80 of them in the basement, I think. Yeah, this has become the drone one. Steve Gibson is the security guru, and this has been a great year for you. We noticed. I've been looking. I just kind of checked download trends. I don't pay too much attention to that. But your show went up 20% last year. Went up 20% this year. There is huge interest in the topics we cover, and I suspect that 2015 will bring even more of interest.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interest. We live in interesting times. You can find Steve at grc.com. That's where SpinRite. We didn't talk about SpinRite. No plug for SpinRite today. You don't have an email or anything? It's Steve's bread and butter, so go buy it.
Everybody knows about it.
Everybody should know about it. It's the best hard drive maintenance utility. You must have a copy. If you don't, go to grc.com and buy it. Everything else there is free, including the feedback form, where if you have questions, we'll be answering probably next week, security allowing. That's grc.com/feedback. Steve also has 16 kilobit audio versions of the show there, and handwritten transcriptions by an actual human being, Elaine Harris.
Yep.
And so if you'd like to read along, and this would be a good one to have in the church. That's all there at grc.com. Here at twit.tv/SN, we have audio and video, higher quality audio and full HD video from that. Twit.tv/SN. You can also subscribe to the audio or the video on any podcast client, iTunes and all. Plus, we have our great apps thanks to our third-party developers on all the platforms, including Roku. Great way to watch the show. Thank you, Steve. It's been a great year. I'm so glad to have you in studio. It's so much fun.
We're going to have fun tomorrow.
Tomorrow, don't forget, 3 a.m. Pacific, 6 a.m. Eastern Time, 1100 UTC. We begin with the ball drop, midnight, as New Zealand ends 2015. New Zealand's first.
Is that 4 a.m.?
3 a.m.
Time?
So I go in at 2:30.
Ooh, baby.
And then go on through the day for 24 hours. There's 27 time zones, and we are very close to having somebody from every time zone. Just a few missing. If you're in the Pacific Islands, twit.tv/NYE. Let us know so we can get you via Skype, and we'll be saying Happy New Year all the way across. We're doing it to raise money for UNICEF. We're going to have musical performances. Many of our hosts, almost all of our hosts,
me at 6 a.m.
will be here. Steve likes to come in early, thank God, so I'm not all alone. Those first 3 hours are tough. But we've planned a lot. In fact, I don't know if you noticed, but we've got sawhorses out on the street. We're taking over the street.
Wow.
Going to have a carnival out there.
Neat.
Crazy. So I hope you'll stop by tomorrow for that. And, of course, next week, and every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 2100 UTC. That's when we record Security Now. Steve Gibson. Happy New Year. See you next year. It's time for Security Now. Steve Gibson is here. We're going to talk about the latest security news and then answer your questions. It's a Q&A episode, Security Now. Netcasts you love.
From people you trust. This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Security Now is provided by Dashfly at CACHEFLY.com. This is Security Now with Steve Gibson, episode 489, recorded Tuesday, January 6th, 2015. Your questions, Steve's answers, number 204. Security Now is brought to you by Audible.com. To download the free audiobook of your choice, go to audiblepodcast.com/securitynow. And by Citrix Go to Assist. Citrix Go to Assist offers a secure, cloud-based solution for IT and customer support professionals to provide live and unattended remote support to their employees and customers working from any computer or mobile device for a 30-day free trial. Visit gotoassist.com. And by IT Pro TV. A good IT pro is always learning, and IT Pro TV is the resource to keep your IT skills and knowledge up to date. IT Pro TV offers engaging courses streamed to your Roku computer or mobile device. For a free 7-day trial and 30% off the lifetime of your account, go to itpro.tv/securitynow and use the code SN30. It's time for Security Now, the show that covers your security and privacy online. This guy right here, he was in studio last week. I'm sorry to say he's back in Irvine. Security Now host, our GM commentator, Mr. Steve Gibson. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Leo. It's great to be with you. As always. Although from a distance, it was really fun to be in the studio. And in fact, I try to decorate the show notes with a security-related photo. In this case, I chose a photo that Lisa happened to capture while I was attempting the very first ride of my life of the mechanical bull, which you had set up.
You made this face a lot, in fact, all day.
Did I?
Yeah, I have another one of you, which I will dig up.
Not when Marilyn was on my lap.
Kissing your forehead, yes.
Oh, I thought I was pretty happy with her doing that.
You were happy. It was a surprised happy. Awesome. Really
so
fun.
for those of our listeners who don't know, all of the hours of the podcast are available at twit.tv/specials, and they're all enumerated there. I thought that there was a lot that was a lot of fun, and so I got a lot of great feedback from it. So
I just got this pop-up just now. It's very odd. On iTunes, do you allow this computer to access information on Steve's iPhone 6 Plus? Do you have an iPhone 6 Plus?
Yeah.
Is it called Steve's iPhone 6 Plus?
It is.
It's very strange because obviously your iPhone 6 Plus is not connected to this iMac.
I know what it was. I was charging, and I had it plugged into the red connector, which Jeff explained was for your clone iPhone, and so he had me switch it over. And then I got the pop-up, do you want to trust this computer? And of course I said no, because I didn't want to form an affiliation, but that's what that was.
The computer feels rejected and is continuing to try to affiliate with you. Isn't that strange? I've been in here since then, but this is the first time that's popped up. You didn't leave your phone.
No.
Okay. So, anyway, thank you for coming. I apologize, as I have been to all the hosts, for the truly awful dinner that we served you at our host
God, I did. I'm glad you said that, because I wasn't going to say anything, but
I apologize. I have pictures, I have evidence that no one ate anything, and probably wisely so. It was a wonderful convivial meal, and I just apologize because we could have chosen a nicer restaurant. We thought we'd choose something with a little local color. I didn't know the color would be brown.
Yeah,
dipped. But anyway, so I apologize.
It was a social gathering, and that was really the point. And I mean, who really cared? I didn't care. We didn't go there to
but I figured probably you and everybody else were thinking, good Lord, has Twit gone bust?
But now that that's out, now that you have that out of your system, we're all glad. So
it was so much fun. I have some great pictures, which I'll be showing.
Oh my God, it was a great time. Yeah. Absolutely a great time.
I'll show. This is my favorite picture. I don't know if you've seen this. This is of you at the dinner, looking over your shoulder.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Just a great smile. There's Sarah Lane behind you. It was odd because how many times there's Lisa doing what she does so well, going for the money. How many times have we gotten? There's Denise Howell, all the hosts together, and it's so odd to see all of you not on Skype but in the same room.
Well, and one thing that we did that I think we should do more of, and that was the one segment where I and three others, I think myself, Renee, and I can't remember, and maybe Jeff. Anyway, I think it was Jeff. Anyway, it was the host roundtable. And I got so much positive feedback.
We'll do that again. In fact, we should have done more of that because we had you all in studio. And I bowed out. I actually was sitting and listening. It was so good. Randall Schwartz, who is our Floss Weekly host. Renee Ritchie from Mac Break Weekly. Paul Thurrott from it was Paul, right? Paul Thurrott?
It was either Paul. I think it was Jeff.
It was Jeff Jarvis from This Week in Google and Steve Gibson from Security Now. All talking about kind of a wide range. I think it was kind of like just a Twitch show.
Yeah, it's just anything. Yeah, but it went really fast, and we jumped around, and it was just it's not the level of interaction you can normally get through Skype connections,
right?
And it was atopical. It was just about whatever we wanted to talk about, and of all the things that happened, that was the thing that people said, "Wow, we should have had more of that." So
I agree. That was one.
So, tuning it as we go. So
I'll find out what hour that is. Somebody's asking which episode that's, because we put it all up on the website on twit.tv/special, so I'll find out for you. Go ahead.
So we have a Q&A this week. We skipped 2 weeks, actually I guess 3, because of end of year stuff, and I think I really liked, and I also got some great feedback about the idea of the last Security Now of the year being a previous year retrospective. I think that'll be something we also add to our format, because a lot of people liked cramming all of the craziness of 2014 into a summary. It's like, okay, phew, we made it. Here's what happened, and because it's sort of a nice opportunity to do a review. So that we will do. Q&A 204. And not a ton of stuff has happened. We're going to talk about the HSTS super cookie that has people kind of needlessly worried, but it's an interesting, from a security theory and technology standpoint, an interesting hack. Then, of course, GoGo's in-flight cert spoofing has generated a bunch of buzz. I will talk about Thunderstrike that you talked about in the previous hour on MacBreak. A quick note about CryptoLocker's successor, and then of course we've got 10 questions and comments and thoughts from our listeners. So another great couple hours here.
Marvy, chat room is saying that it was hour 4. I can't believe it was hour 4.
No, it had to be later than that.
Yeah, I think it must have been. I don't think all those people were here, but maybe, I don't know. For me, it's all a blur, to be honest.
And Leo, I've got to say, I'm impressed. It took me 48 hours to recover. I came home and I slept for 15 hours.
I
went to sleep at 7:30. I went to sleep at 7:30 and got up at 10:30 the next day. I just knocked me out. But really.
Oh, I did the whole thing. Obviously, it was Twit Live special number 212, and there you have it. And believe it or not, so it was like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Well, I know that
7.
Renee and Randall both were planning to be part of the Breakfast with Steve, and we moved that forward.
Right.
And so
I never did have breakfast, by the way.
No, but you and I had a neat.
I was counting on breakfast. They told me there'd be breakfast. But this was good, and I highly recommend it. We should probably just put this out as a little bit by itself because it was so good. But it's about, let me look here, it's about halfway, a little less than halfway through Twit Live Special number 212. So it looks like it starts about after the trust exercise with Josh Windage, 15 minutes in. Well, it was such fun, and we opened so many bottles of champagne.
And by the way, I've been hearing you talk about understanding the need for body hair, and of course that's why I wear the cap. I was just reminded because there I have my little French cap on, as I do, and it's because I keep my hair so short that, as you have found, it really is cold.
It is not, hair is not an evolutionary mistake or a leftover or vestigial. It really protects your head.
And we know that you lose a lot of heat through your head. Also,
there's a cap to bed.
Well, I think our brain uses, what is this? 20% of our body's total energy budget. Yeah.
And this is just a perfect radiator now.
Yeah. It'll go back in no time.
Anyway, it was fun. We raised $75,000 at final count for UNICEF. A little more than 10 of that through the auction, about $61,000 through the direct cash donations. And you'll feel good about this, that 91% of the money UNICEF receives goes right to the kids. It is one of the most efficient charities out there, so I feel very, very good about what we did. It was worth getting a tattoo and a haircut. I tweeted, I woke up without any hair and a sore butt. What happened last night?
Such a good
Yeah.
Yeah, when that happens in Vegas, then you have a problem.
I was looking for a tiger. There were no tigers. No crazed monkeys. Do you want to take a break now? We have 3 ads. Should we do one now?
Yep.
Audible.com, our great sponsor. We're big fans, as you know. I am. Actually, Steve, we have yet to convince.
Haven't converted. Well, I just don't have a mode in my life where I'm driving or flying.
Steve has a unique ability that I lack to read while running on a treadmill. Yep. I'm bouncing too much. I don't know how you do it. That's where I love Audible. Anytime I'm working out is so boring. I know it's good for you, but Audible.com actually makes it so fun. You sometimes just spend a little extra time on the treadmill or drive around the block or just kind of sit in the driveway listening to the end of that chapter. We're big Peter F. Hamilton fans. Audible.com has a ton of great sci-fi from Peter F. Hamilton. I'm doing the Greg Mandel trilogy right now, which is so...
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah,
those are so fun.
Some of his earlier stuff. He has a new one, though, which I've also bought and downloaded. It just came out in October. This is it's going to be another series because it says Book 1, The Abyss Beyond Dreams, Chronicle of the Fallers. The year is 3326. Nigel Sheldon, once again, he's back. He receives a visit from the Rael, self-appointed guardians of the void.
Good.
And they convince him to participate in a desperate scheme to infiltrate the void. The void, of course, is part of the subject of a previous trilogy.
The Dreaming Void trilogy. And that's really good.
Yeah, that's the one with Al Capone, right?
No. Yeah. That's the Reality Dysfunction trilogy, and I agree. That pushed me a little too far.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, that's a little hokey.
Well, I've downloaded this. He's got John Lee narrating. I'll play a little bit. John is one of the best narrators. That's, by the way, one of the things about Audible.
Captain wants you out and out, and we don't have much time. Sorry.
Imagine,
Laura's eyes managed to focus on Andy's face, seeing the familiar bulbous nose, dark bags under pale brown eyes.
It's like you're in the Saturday afternoon movies watching a serial. It is so great. But not just science fiction. Audible has so many other kinds of books. I try to alternate fiction with nonfiction. That way I feel like I'm learning something as well as entertaining myself. In fact, if I have any regret, it's that I don't spend more time listening to Audible books. I listen in the car, I listen at home, at washing the dishes, walking the dog, working out. If you've seen the new Clint Eastwood movie or you're about to, American Sniper, here's the original book, narrated by John Cruton, Chris Kyle's story of American Sniper, the autobiography of the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history. So that you see, there's so much here. In fact, we've set it up to get you a book a month. You'd be signing up for the gold plan if you go to audiblepodcast.com/security now. The first month is free, so your first book is free. You'll also get the Daily Digest of the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal as part of your subscription. Unbroken. The book for Unbroken is here, Laurie Hillebrand. Her book on Seabiscuit is one of my favorite all-time Audible listens, and I have to listen to Edward Herman, who just passed away, I'm sad to say, narrates this one. You'll recognize his voice.
Zamparini looked toward his crewmates. They were too weak to go back in the water. As they lay down on the floor of the raft, hands over their heads, Zamparini splashed overboard alone. Somewhere beneath him, the sharks were done waiting.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. So I don't know if you're going to choose one, but you have to choose one, at least for your first month, at audiblepodcast.com/security now. It's free. Cancel anytime in the first 30 days. You'll pay nothing. The books are always yours to keep, though. That's nice. I have my whole library from the last 15 years of Audible subscription, over 500 books, and it's great. audiblepodcast.com/security now. Choose from 150,000 of the best books in the world. Here's one you might like. They have the great courses on here now. This is a college course. Professor Roberta Anding, Nutrition Made Clear, 18 hours. I listened to and I loved how to listen to and understand great music. Professor Robert Greenberg's fantastic. This is a series of lectures. I think there's like 48 lectures. And you will understand music, classical music, better than you ever have before. These great courses are phenomenal. Thinking Like an Economist, classic novels, Meeting the Challenge of Grit. Go back to college, The Foundations of Western Civilization, Practicing Mindfulness, and Introduction to Meditation. The real problem with Audible, there's too much great stuff. It really is. Pick one. And
Not enough time.
Not enough time in the world to listen to all the great books in the world. At Audible Podcast.